again, coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to be doing live Rapid Fire Friday. And I've got my three guests, and I'm going to ask them all another question because we've been talking about the Constitution. I wish some of the people in Washington, D.C. would read the Constitution. And when Nancy Pelosi was asked, where in the Constitution does it give you the authority to pass this health care reform legislation? Do you know what her response was? Are you serious? Yes, they were serious. That's the problem. They are not serious about the Constitution. But we are serious about the Constitution. That's what we got to get back to. We got to get back to the Constitution. All right, I'm going to start with Brett. My question to you is, give us one example of those social issues that libertarians believe in. Or stated another way, which one of the social issues do you think this administration and Congress is most trying to take away?
Well, I think one of the things that Congress is trying to take away the most is our ability to be free, unfortunately. But when you get to a specific issue, I think that when you look at things like the Fourth Amendment and the way that FISA
FISA?
Yes.
What's FISA?
FISA is the Federal Intelligence Security Act.
Oh, okay.
The wiretapping, things like that, the Patriot Act. Those are some of the social issues that you're limiting civil liabilities, or civil liberties.
Right.
That's one of the biggest issues, not only with this administration, but the previous one as well.
Right, and the thing about those kinds of attempts to take away our liberties, most people don't see it, most people don't know it because that's not a hot issue that they follow. And so we have to be mindful of all of those kind of issues, the ones that are below the radar, just like the ones that are above the radar. Very good. Now, Stuart, my question to you is, if you could change one thing about our current tax code that would help American businesses the most. One, you know we're not going to get them to change the whole tax code overnight. One thing that you would change that would give American businesses a little bit of confidence.
Well, I think one thing that I know as a business owner myself, that the payroll tax and the fact, yes, thank you, and payroll tax is very damaging to companies, particularly when they're trying to get going. Because when you have to match Social Security and Medicare, or FICA and that, you have to match those as an employer. It's very debilitating as a startup company trying to get going.
And the thing that a lot of people don't realize about the payroll tax is that if you are a business person, even if your business is not making money and you've got employees, you have to pay it anyway. A lot of businesses go out of business because of the weight of the payroll tax. The other thing to keep in mind is that it was Representative Gomert from Texas who recommended, in order to help stimulate the economy, why not suspend the payroll tax? He said, let's suspend the payroll tax for about 4 months. I suggest we suspend it for 12 months. Every worker gets an increase in pay. Every business will lower their payroll taxes. And then we can have a stronger economy while we try to fix Social Security and Medicare. Very good. Now let's ask the Taekwondo Ango Lieutenant Colonel. On all of our currency, it says, in God we trust. And the 4th verse of the Star Spangled Banner that Mr. Schaefer sang says, in God is our trust. Because as the Colonel pointed out earlier, that was the basis and the inspiration for the Declaration and the Constitution, which ultimately led to our laws. This will probably be a softball for the Colonel. How important is our trust in God for the future of this country?
I've seen so many proposals in Alabama about a moment of silence, prayer, and so on, where the Montgomery Advertiser has simply called those feel-good bills. Well, that's all they are if you don't believe in God. If you don't believe God is real, if you don't believe that He does bless those nations that trust in Him, then all that is something to feel good. But if you really believe that God is real, Lincoln said it is the duty of nations as well as of men to acknowledge God and to be grateful for his blessings. If we believe that God does honor those nations that bless him and does not honor those nations who turn their back on him, then that is the most important issue of all.
Absolutely. And if we take God out of our culture, we are done for. And we're not